Pet Trustee sponsors Let's Talk About Animals, hosted by Jewel.
You know, we get to talk about all types of subjects here on Let's Talk About Animals, but today I'm especially delighted to have our guest because this is the glamour end. Sometimes we have to talk about things that are not so much fun and glamorous, but today I'm especially happy to have with us John Nida, who is the Vice President as well as the General Manager of all of Wolffers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wow,
yes.
That's great. And also we have the, you're the Stable Director of the Stables, and this is Federico Sztyrle.
Yeah.
So thank you. And Federico, you were also the Argentinian representative in the Olympics, I believe?
Yeah, in 2004. Yeah, I went to Athens with one of Wolffers' horses.
Okay, and is that how Wolffers discovered you?
No. That was way before that. That was in 1996 when I met Christian in Argentina, and through a mutual friend, and he brought me here. He needed someone to manage the stable, and that's how I made it.
And it's been history ever since.
Yeah.
And John, tell us how you wound up being the Grand Vice President of Wolffers.
Well, it's a very long story, but I'll give you the very short version. I came here 4 years ago as a consultant for Christian, mainly helping him on his investments. He needed somebody to really support what we already had in place, which were a fine stables director and Federico, and then with Roman Roth at the wineries. So he needed somebody to manage the estate and oversee the businesses, and so here I am.
Oh, okay. So you guys knew how to spend the money, and so you had to turn it into a business.
That's right.
Oh, well, instead of a hobby. That's great. It really is. Well, tell me about the philosophy of the stables. I know people associate Wolffers with winery, and I, for one, didn't even know you had a stable until Roman took me on a personal tour one day, and that was phenomenal. And I said, oh my goodness, this is one, and I've been to a lot of stables, but let me tell you, yours is absolutely one of the finest in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Amazingly beautiful stables. So tell us about the philosophy.
Well, I'm going to let Feddy kind of jump in because he's been here for a number of years. But I would like to say that Christian, to understand the stables and the winery, you have to understand Christian and that these were businesses really that were never intended to be businesses. These were passions of his, the horses, the wine, something he had wanted to get into for many, many years. So, you know, when you look at the stables, the philosophy really is about the animals. It's always about the well-care of the animals, providing a wonderful environment for them to be in. They're treated like no other stable that I know of, certainly around. And you know, it's a very high-end stables. We always take pride in the horses, the clients that come. But it was a passion, and we treat it as a passion. It's never about numbers and the bottom line. Certainly, we're concerned about that, and we always aware of that. But it's a place that that's driven by by a great passion that he had.
Well, you even named a couple of bottles of wine after horses, I believe.
That's correct. Yes.
And was that Christian's idea?
It was Christian's idea. Yes. In fact, in the last 3 years, about 3 years ago, we changed our label design, and he was the front runner on that and took the lead. And it was his idea to. All the top tier wines that are in our portfolio were named after horses that he had owned. Again, it's a nice tie not only to the stables, but again, his passion for horses.
Oh, I love that pearl. That was, oh, that one blew me away. Marvelous, marvelous wine. It's really interesting, and I want to take a second about that because I feel like Wolffers, you know, I was a West Coast snobbery because we have a place out there too, and I thought, California wines, oh my goodness, you know, Long Island can never compete. boy, did I change my mind. And that has happened. It's evolved. I've seen all of the wines here on Long Island have really changed. And I think that Roman has been instrumental in setting a new standard for the wines here. It's really been amazing. It really is.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It has been a collective effort, I think, among all the wineries. There were other wineries that were front runners even before Wolfer, but Wolfer was one of the pioneers in the wine business on Long Island. So, yeah, we've come a long, long way. You know, our winery and certainly many, many other wineries take a lot of pride in really pursuing that high quality wine. We're all boutique wineries. We're not mass producers, you know, and our reputation is in the quality of the wine we produce. So. We're proud to be part of it.
So tell me about the facilities and basically how you care for them, what, you know, how many paddocks you have. Tell us a little bit more about that.
We have around 36 paddocks.
Okay.
And we take special care on the footings, like all the footings of the rings have to be perfect. The footing in the indoor is great, so the horses always
Okay,
work.
tell us about footings. We have a lot of viewers out there that really don't know much about horses.
Well, it all depends on what you like, what people like. They're made basically with fiber and rubber and sand. It's a mix of all of them, and it has a lot to do also with the care that they need a lot of water. And they're all weather footings, especially the ones in the sand. But we also have a Grand Prix field, which is huge, and the footing is normally perfect. Sometimes needs water, and the summer can get a bit hard if it doesn't rain. But it's basically fantastic for the horses. And then we also have a walker, so the horses exercise every day. The grooms, they put them in the paddocks every day, and then we train them, we ride them, and then we have a lot of boarders, so if you have your horse there and you want to come and ride, you take lessons.
That's right. Well, we have a little clip that we'd like to show, and that shows, because as I said, I'd never even known about Wolffers Stables. So if we could, let's show that little clip. Most of us, when we hear the name Wolffers, associate that with the excellent wines and the winery that's here on Long Island. But what many people don't know is that Christian Wolfer, the founder, actually started with Stables. What a wonderful welcome. We thought we were just going to be meeting with horses, but here we are seeing beautiful dogs as well. And they took time out to play with us. More like a spa than it is a stable. Look at that grooming.
You're absolutely beautiful. And we're going to see you prance around this beautiful stable.
27.
27, so you have been in it for a while. That's great. Well, let's see your stuff. Bye, baby. And I wonder if my thighs would look that thin if I rode horses. And here at the Wolffers+horse spa, we also have their version of the treadmill. Eden is for sale. So anybody out there that
just
wants
went on the market.
Yeah.
And she's a good price, affordable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's the monthly maintenance that gets me.
The board, the shoes, everything else can be very costly.
This is the largest indoor jumping stable in the world.
Oh, is it the world? I thought it was just North America.
Well, I thought Judy said in the
Is
world.
it the world? Might be.
Well, we'll find
She
out.
knows her facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, we'll do another clip. This is the largest riding stable in North America, indoor. And to end our wonderful visit at Wolffers Stables, we had a beginning greeting from dogs. We met wonderful horses, and then a mystery cat appears to wish us goodbye. We've just been here talking, and John has informed me about that last clip that it's not the largest in North America, the indoor stable. In fact, so I said, well, it's the largest in Suffolk County. And
And we know at least it's the largest on our estate.
Okay.
We're not for certain that, you know, there was a time that it was the largest indoor riding ring east of the Mississippi.
Okay.
And if you had ever had the opportunity to meet Christian, and if he were here today, he would still tell you that. He always took great pride in feeling we had the biggest indoor riding ring east of the Mississippi, but there are a lot of other indoor riding rings.
Okay.
None I don't think as special and unique as this one, but
It's amazing because you go in and you have viewing rooms from both on the lower level as well as on the second floor, so you get a different perspective of watching them trained.
right.
And it was really funny too, John, because I was there the other day and one of the trainers was riding around the ring and he was texting on the horse just like this. It was so funny. It was
Well,
really
you know, viewing room, it's interesting because we do, especially in the summertime, we host a lot of kids, clients that come in and bring their children in, and so parents can use that as a viewing room, obviously a place to relax, but then to observe their child riding, and you know, it gets used a good bit. It's a great viewing room. The indoor is a great facility. It's a state-of-the-art facility. Obviously built a number of years ago, but the upkeep in terms of the footing clearly has a state-of-the-art footing that was put in about 2 years ago.
It's dust-free. It's great. It's waxed and it's dust-free and doesn't need any water.
Oh, really?
It's super. Did you walk in it?
So you were mentioning boarding, so not all of these are owned by Wolffers. You actually have people that can board there?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just prior to Christian passing away, he owned roughly 20 horses that were stabled there. We stable, at the peak, we'll stable 70 to 80 horses.
You're kidding.
So he carried roughly a third, a little more than, or a little less than a third of the horses. But we since then have sold the majority of those horses. So we can board 70 to 80 horses. We certainly cater to the seasonal clients that come out, bring their horses, have homes in the Hamptons, and board the horses. Our fees tend to be a little higher than most, but you know, given the facility and the type of care and the quality of the training that we provide, it's well worth every penny.
Well, that's why I named it the Horse Spa, because I could not believe how beautifully it was kept. And these horses are really pampered so much. It's really incredible. Federico, tell us about the typical day in the life of a horse at Wolffers.
The horses, they normally eat early, like a little bit before 6. And then, depend on what time they're going to be ridden or exercise, they go to the paddock for a couple of hours to stretch and eat grass and relax. And then they normally go for between 45 minutes and 1 hour to the walker, so they exercise. Then they're reading and they're groomed. The grooms. So.
Well, it's amazing because I really felt. Now, how many trainers do you have there?
We're 5 trainers now and 16 grooms.
Okay. John, do you mind if I ask a very nosy question? In the thing I was saying, it's the monthly maintenance that would kill me. How much does it cost to actually board or even to feed and upkeep your own horses? Do you mind if I ask that question?
No, not at all. I mean, our board rates, we have 2 separate board rates. We have an on-seasonal and a seasonal board rate. The seasonal board rate runs about $2,400 a month.
Okay.
Which we call a full-service board. And in that, we provide hay, feed, shavings, stall, full grooming service. Obviously, the training staff that we have is not included, but certainly there and available. So we have training fees on top of that as well. And then we have a non-seasonal or a year-round board rate that's just over $2,000 a month.
Okay.
That would include the same services.
Now
But the average horse owner generally will spend $50 to be at our stables and to pay vet, blacksmith, kind of an all-in cost, roughly $50,